Hi guys, coming at you for an astro update for Mercury retrograde. So I know I'm a little bit late to the game here. Mercury went retrograde on September 27th and moves out of that cycle on October 18th. So it's been a couple of days that we've been in this energy and I just haven't had the time or space to dedicate until now. So just wanted to remind you that when a planet moves retrograde, it's just part of its natural cycle. And the cycles of the planets are in our bones. They're like in our DNA. They're part of who we are. We've just come really far from being in tune with them. I did write a long post about this, so you can check that out if you want the written, but this is the spoken version of this. So just like in the summertime, we're called to like stay really busy and active and be outside a lot. It's like get into the sun, stay up later. We don't rest as much in the summer. We definitely like move a lot more. Versus the winter, we're asked to slow down, to rest, to make nourishing soups and bone broth and things to like nourish our soul, and to take breaks and sit by the fire and warm our bones. And it's like a slower season. The same is true for the cycles. The same is true for the way that we experience Mercury moving retrograde. It's almost like it's a winter season, and it's a period of time of reflection and review, and where we're asked to go inward. So Mercury is communication, the way we speak. He's, our computers and our technology, so those things can sometimes get a little bit wonky. This retrograde cycle is a little bit more about relationships and finding balance. Libra is the sign that loves to have a mirror of another, to have the reflection of another person, another relationship, so they can see themselves in them, and to understand who they are, right? We have relationships because they are mirrors, and sometimes we project our stuff onto the mirror, onto the person. And sometimes we have more awareness of like where we're projecting our feelings, our emotions. So what we're going to be asked during this period of time is, who am I in my relationships? And is there something that I need to revisit when it comes to how I show up? Libra is a sign of the scales, right? It's constantly trying to balance. It can see two sides of a story. It's the great judgment, the great mediator. It's the judge. When it comes to balancing, Libra's issue is that sometimes they take responsibility for the other person's emotions because they want harmony. So it's like a codependency thing. I know I struggle with this a lot, just wanting peace and harmony in my own life, and trying to balance that myself. So that's not really Libra's job. Libra's job is to understand themselves through the mirror, through the reflection of another person. During this cycle, we're asked to like slow down, to reflect on ourselves and to learn about ourselves truly. Really, when it comes to like ways to cope with Mercury in retrograde, I would say allowing yourself time for reflection and journaling, allowing yourself time to kind of have solitude with yourself, knowing that you might have miscommunications in your relationships, and turning on your awareness as much as possible. So I like to sometimes think of like myself floating outside of my body and watching something play out, even that I'm involved in, to kind of see when I'm triggered, see when I'm, when I'm more reactive, see when I'm projecting something onto somebody else, and vice versa, like turning on your observer and really noticing these patterns. This is a really good time to notice patterns, especially in relationships, especially with like the ways that you are triggered in them. It's a good time to take baths, to rest, to ask yourself if you can infuse more compassion for yourself, like the way that you do for other people. Like you can have compassion for others, but can you have the same kind of compassion for yourself, especially when you're triggered, especially when there's miscommunications? How are you treating yourself? I imagine that if we all observe this period of time and take the time to go within into our heart center, that we could actually come out with a lot more clarity about how we want to show up in our relationships, who we want around, who we want our mirror to be, who we even are as people, you know, how much we've grown. This is also just a really good time. I love Mercury retrograde cycles, no matter what sign it's in, to like purge your closets and clean your cupboards and do something where you're like going back to a project that's been bugging you for a while. Also, Libra is ruled by Venus, and so if you can infuse more beauty into your life through yourself, through your home, through your relationships, that's a beautiful way to use this energy as well. And I just, as always, like spending more time with yourself and turning off the external world to where you're getting influenced. And really, when you are in the external world, or you're in the natural world, not alone by yourself, really watching yourself, watching how you move through the world, watching what kind of people come into your life, watching what you attract. It's a really beautiful time for that. So my hope is that you guys can use this period of time to kind of go within and reflect, and understand that we're not supposed to be pushing forward. We're supposed to be just observing. So yeah, I think that's all I got for you. I'm sending all of you guys love. I am doing discounted readings for October and November, so you can message me or email me if that's something you're interested in. I'll be putting out like something about that later here pretty soon, but sending all of you love.